The modern world is a world of efficiency. We are surrounded by systems, bureaucracies, and rational procedures that promise to make our lives more organized, more productive, and more predictable. We build grand institutions based on logic and calculation, from our governments to our businesses. But what if this relentless march toward rationality comes at a terrible price? What if, in our quest for efficiency, we have built a prison of our own design, a cold and soulless cage? History has given us a man who saw this with a sober and at times pessimistic eye. A sociologist who, with profound intellectual depth, analyzed the very spirit of modernity and found within it a powerful yet troubling dynamic. He was not a prophet of utopia, but a clear-eyed observer of the human condition. Join us as we step into the heart of modern life with Max Weber to discuss his masterpiece, Economy and Society, and his timeless warning about the iron cage. Born in Erfurt, Germany in 1864, Max Weber was a brilliant but often tormented intellectual who became one of the founding fathers of sociology. He was raised in an affluent and politically engaged family, a background that gave him a unique perspective on the intersection of power, politics, and culture. A sickly child, he was often plagued by periods of severe depression, but he used these struggles to fuel an immense intellectual output. He was a scholar of astounding breadth, writing on everything from the role of religion in the rise of capitalism to the nature of bureaucracy. Unlike his contemporary Durkheim, Weber was a profound methodologist who argued that a full understanding of social action required not just external observation, but also an empathetic understanding of the individual's motivations and values. His work, while dense and often unfinished, has had a profound impact on sociology, political science, and philosophy. Our conversation today will be centered on Max Weber's monumental and unfinished work, Economy and Society. Published posthumously in 1922, this book is a breathtaking attempt to understand the historical development of modern civilization. In it, Weber introduces his core ideas, the different types of authority, the nature of bureaucracy, and most famously, the process of rationalization. This is the process by which modern society becomes increasingly governed by logic, efficiency, and calculation, rather than by tradition, emotion, or value. He argued that this process, while efficient, would lead to a society that was cold, impersonal, and devoid of meaning, a concept he famously termed the iron cage.
Mr. Weber, welcome. Your work is a profound analysis of modern society. Let's begin with your central concept, rationalization. What does this process entail?
Rationalization is the relentless process by which the modern world becomes increasingly organized according to the principles of logic, efficiency, and calculation. It is the replacement of tradition and emotion with reason. In every sphere of life, from government to music to religion, we see a move toward a more systematic, predictable, and controllable system.
You see this as a problem? Why?
Because it is a process of disenchantment. The world, once filled with mystery, magic, and meaning, becomes a cold, mechanical place. The poet and the prophet are replaced by the manager and the scientist. We no longer ask why, but how. We have built a world that is incredibly efficient, but we have, in the process, lost all sense of transcendent meaning.
This leads us to your famous phrase, the iron cage. What is this cage?
The iron cage is the final result of this process of rationalization. It is a world where all aspects of human life, work, family, even our personal lives, are governed by an impersonal, bureaucratic logic. It is a cage that is built not of steel bars, but of rules, procedures, and systems. We are trapped in a world that is so efficient that it has no room for the things that make us truly human: emotion, spontaneity, and meaning.
How does the modern state rely on this process of rationalization?
The modern state is the supreme example of rationalization. It is a bureaucracy, a system of formal, impersonal rules and procedures. Its power is not based on tradition or the charisma of a leader, but on a set of legal and rational principles. The modern state is a great administrative machine, and it can only be run by a system of rational, bureaucratic officials.
You distinguish between 3 types of legitimate authority. Can you explain these?
I spoke of 3 types of authority: traditional authority, based on customs and a belief in the sanctity of ancient traditions; charismatic authority, based on the extraordinary personal qualities of a leader; and rational legal authority, based on a belief in the legality of a system of rules. The modern world is increasingly dominated by this 3rd type, rational legal authority.
You wrote extensively about bureaucracy. What are the key characteristics of a bureaucracy?
A bureaucracy is a system of hierarchy with a clear chain of command. It is based on a division of labor with a set of specific duties for each official. It is run by a set of formal, written rules, and it is impersonal and detached. The official acts according to the rule, not according to his own personal feelings. It is an incredibly efficient system, but it is also a dehumanizing one.
As a sociologist, you emphasize the importance of Verstehen, or interpretive understanding. What does this mean?
Verstehen is a method of understanding social action from the perspective of the actor. It is not enough to simply observe a social phenomenon. We must also try to understand the meaning that the actor gives to his own actions. My sociology is an interpretive one. It seeks to understand the values and motivations that drive people's behavior.
You argued that sociology should be value-free. What does this mean in practice?
It means that a sociologist, in his academic work, should be objective and should not allow his own personal values to influence his research. The purpose of sociology is to discover the truth, not to tell people what to do. The sociologist can and should have his own values, but he must not allow them to contaminate his analysis.
What happens to a society when a charismatic leader dies or loses his influence?
The authority of a charismatic leader is fragile. It is based on his extraordinary personal qualities, not on rules or traditions. When he dies, there is a crisis of authority. The movement must either find a new charismatic leader, or it must go through a process of routinization of charisma, where it becomes a more traditional or a more rational legal system. The charisma becomes an institution.
How did the Protestant ethic contribute to the rise of capitalism?
I argued that the Protestant belief in predestination created a unique psychological drive. Protestants, unable to be certain of their salvation, sought signs that they were among the elect. They found this sign in worldly success and hard work. This created a relentless drive to work, to save, and to invest, which laid the psychological groundwork for modern capitalism.
You wrote that the state is a human community that successfully claims the monopoly of the legitimate use of physical force within a given territory. What is the importance of this definition?
It is a definition of the state in its most fundamental form. A state is not defined by its purpose, but by its means. The state is the only entity in a territory that has the right to use violence, and all other uses of violence are illegitimate. This monopoly on force is what gives a state its power and its ability to maintain order.
How would you advise a person to find meaning in a disenchanted world?
I would say that the world is no longer a world of a single, unified meaning. It is a world of a plurality of values. The individual must choose for himself what is meaningful. The university, the church, the family, they all offer different kinds of meaning. The person must make a choice and commit himself to it with passion. This is the great burden and the great freedom of the modern man.
In our time, we see the rise of the gig economy and highly rationalized tech platforms. Do you see these as a new form of the iron cage or a way for people to escape it?
I would say that it is a new form of the cage, but with a new kind of lock. The gig economy promises freedom and flexibility, but it is in fact a highly rationalized system that treats a person not as a worker, but as a data point. The gig worker is a new kind of bureaucrat, a detached, impersonal manager of his own life, but he is still a cog in a great machine. He is in an iron cage that has the illusion of freedom, and that, in my view, is the most dangerous cage of all.
If you were alive today, how would you analyze the internal structure of a modern technology company, which often appears innovative but operates on vast, rational, legal, bureaucratic principles?
I would say that such a company is a perfect and terrifying example of rational legal authority at its peak. The charismatic founders are a fragile facade. The true power lies in the rules, the procedures, and the data that governs every decision. The creative spirit of the startup will inevitably be replaced by the impersonal logic of bureaucracy. The employee, who once felt like a creative innovator, becomes a specialized cog in a vast, efficient machine. This is the iron cage of your time, a bureaucracy that promises a new world, but delivers a soulless, disenchanted one.
Closing reflections and summary. And so our time with Max Weber concludes. His work, though often pessimistic, is a profound and lasting warning about the direction of modern life. He taught us that a society can be so rational that it becomes irrational, so efficient that it becomes soulless. He reminds us that the quest for a better society is not just a matter of designing better systems, but of fighting to preserve the very soul of humanity itself. Weber's legacy is a powerful and sobering one. He reminds us that our greatest achievements, the building of great institutions, the creation of modern technology, may also be the source of our deepest spiritual crisis. Thank you for joining us, and until our next dialogue, remember that true freedom is not the ability to choose, but the ability to choose what is truly meaningful.